October 1998, Lyn Bryant left her home in a peaceful Cornish village to walk the family dog. It was a route she'd taken hundreds of times. Broad daylight, a sleepy rural road, no apparent danger in sight. But Lyn never came home. She was brutally murdered in a shocking attack that stunned the nation. An attack so violent, so personal, and so brazen. It shattered the illusion of safety in one of Britain's most tranquil communities. No witnesses, no motive, no arrests. More than 25 years later, her killer is still out there, watching, waiting. This is the unsolved murder of Lyn Bryant, a crime that continues to haunt us. Welcome to Crimes That Haunt Us. We release a new case every Sunday at 6 p.m, so hit subscribe and don't miss the next one. And let me know your thoughts on this case in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. In the heart of Cornwall's Roseland Peninsula, where narrow lanes wind through rolling fields and time seems to stand still, a tragedy unfolded that would haunt a village forever. Linda Lyn Bryant, a 40-year-old mother of two, was the heartbeat of Ruan High Lanes, a close-knit, remote hamlet off the A3708 Tregony to St. Mawes Road, far from the tourist trails. Known for her warm smile and sociable spirit, Lyn was a housewife and part-time cleaner who poured her love into her family. She lived with her husband, Peter, and their 19-year-old daughter, Erin, in the village where she'd spent her entire life. Her eldest daughter, Lee, 21, had recently moved out with her 10-month-old son, Keelan, Lyn's pride and joy, her grandson. Lyn was a familiar figure, walking miles each day with her tan and cream lurcher, Jay, her loyal companion, through the quiet lanes where she felt utterly safe. But on October 20th, 1998, that sense of safety would be shattered, and a predator would turn Lyn's routine walk into a nightmare from which there was no return. Lyn's daily ritual was as predictable as the tides. Each day, rain or shine, she set out with Jay along a circular route starting opposite home on Ruan Lane. Her consistency made her a fixture in the village, but it also left her vulnerable, her movements easy to track, her path isolated in the rural expanse. Could someone have been watching, studying her every step? The thought chills the blood, suggesting a killer who knew the area as well as Lyn did, their intentions cloaked in premeditated darkness. On that fateful morning, October 20th, 1998, Lyn began her day as usual. The air was damp, the sky heavy with rain, and the temperatures a chilling 8 degrees. She spent the morning cleaning at a local house, then made a brief visit to her parents nearby, her roots deep in the community. By midday, she was back home, her visibility in the village perhaps catching the eye of someone with sinister intent. Meanwhile, between 12:30 and 12:45 p.m., a local woman driving along the A3078 from Truro to St. Mawes spotted a lone male walking alone. As she approached, this lone man walking the roadside, clad in light-colored clothing, their paths aligned neck and neck. His piercing stare locked onto her, intense and unnerving, sending a chill through her as she passed. She later recalled, even if he was a hitchhiker, she would never pick him up. The strange encounter, fleeting yet haunting, left her unsettled, the man's gaze lingering in her mind as she continued down the rural road, unaware of the dark significance that moment might hold. At 12:45 p.m., Lyn climbed into her grey Ford Sierra and drove to the former Harris garage in Tregony, only to find they were out of the fuel she typically used. Undeterred, she pressed on, driving the short journey to Chenoweth's garage in Ruan High Lanes. 1:05 p.m, as Lyn filled her tank and grabbed groceries, a shadow crossed her path. A local woman at Chenoweth's garage, speaking to Lyn through her driver's window, noticed a white car-derived van pull onto the forecourt. Its driver, a heavy-set man in his 50s with a round face and a full, bushy brown beard speckled with grey, wore a waxed green jacket. He maneuvered the van at an odd angle, nearly blocking her vehicle, his gaze deliberately fixated on Lyn Bryant's Sierra or the road ahead, avoiding her eyes. His movements seemed calculated, almost predatory, as he reversed back into the forecourt before pulling out to follow Lyn's car down the A3078 towards St. Mawes, leaving an uneasy chill in the air. This wasn't the first time the van had been seen lurking in the area, yet no one in the tight-knit village knew its owner. Despite police eliminating 6,700 similar vehicles, this spectral presence remains untraced, its driver's silence a haunting enigma. Was he watching Lyn, biding his time, or was this a chilling coincidence? By 1:15 p.m, Lyn was back home, the normalcy of her day masking the horror to come. She put away her groceries and sat down with Erin for lunch, the two watching Emmerdale from 1 to 1:30 p.m, chatting about Lyn's up-and-coming 41st birthday. It was a moment of warmth, a mother and daughter sharing laughter, unaware that these would be Lyn's final hours. Shortly after 1:30 p.m, Lyn donned her brown barber-style wax jacket, blue jumper, jeans and walking boots, and tortoise-shell glasses, bracing for the wet, windy weather. With her rescue dog Jay, whom she loved dearly, by her side, she set out on her familiar route towards Ruan High Lanes Methodist Chapel. The rain-soaked lanes and her distinctive glasses made her stand out, a beacon in the grey afternoon. Between 1:45 and 2 p.m, several residents, some who knew Lyn well, spotted her walking toward the chapel. But one sighting stands out. A motorist saw Lyn, Jay at her side, talking to a clean-shaven man in his 30s, about 5'9" tall, dressed in light-coloured clothing, possibly a grey top and trousers. The weather was foul, yet his attire was oddly light, as if he hadn't planned to be out long, or as if he was prepared for something else entirely. This man, likely the last person to see Lyn alive, has never come forward, despite high-profile police appeals. His silence, coupled with his inappropriate clothing, casts a dark shadow. Could he be the killer? Or does he hold the key to unlocking this mystery? At 2:30 p.m, the world of Ruan High Lanes shattered. A woman staying at Trevellay's Manor, driving along an unclassified road between the chapel and the manor, stumbled upon a horrifying scene. Lyn's body, sprawled in a field gateway, mud-splattered and lifeless. She alerted a local farmer, who recognized Lyn immediately, his heart sinking at the loss of his beloved neighbor. Lyn had been savagely attacked, stabbed multiple times in her back, neck and chest, a fatal wound to her chest ending her life. The single-edged blade, likely a penknife or small kitchen knife, has never been found. Her clothing was disturbed, the mud and blood suggesting a prolonged, sexually motivated attack in the rain-soaked gateway. Her tortoise-shell glasses, so distinctive, were nowhere to be found, despite a meticulous search. Yet Jay, her loyal lurcher, remained by her side, unharmed, as if standing guard over his fallen companion. The scene is haunting. The lack of any attempt to hide Lyn's body in a public gateway speaks to a killer's boldness or reckless abandon, and the missing glasses add a macabre riddle. At 2:34 p.m, a frantic 999 call summoned police and ambulance services, the urgency palpable in the remote Roseland Peninsula where narrow lanes could delay ground ambulances. 16 minutes later, at 2:50 p.m., the Cornwall Air Ambulance roared into the muddy field, a beacon of hope in a hopeless moment. Paramedics rushed to Lyn's side, but the extent of her injuries, multiple stab wounds, catastrophic blood loss, made revival impossible. She was pronounced dead at the scene, a decision that preserved the crime scene for forensic examination, ensuring critical evidence like the vivid blue polyester cotton fibers later found on her body remained intact. The air ambulance's arrival, with Jay still near his owner, marked a tragic turning point, the village's illusion of safety shattered forever. How could a killer escape so swiftly, leaving no trace in a community where everyone knew each other? Between 2:45 and 3 p.m., another figure emerged from the shadows. A farmer spotted a man, mid-30s, medium to stocky build, with short dark hair, crossing a nearby field where no footpath existed. Dressed in a light-colored top, possibly a sweatshirt and darker trousers, his normal clothes and shoes were ill-suited for the muddy terrain, his presence jarring in the rural stillness. Was this the same man seen with Lyn at the Chapel Junction, now fleeing the scene? His identity remains unknown, a ghostly figure slipping through the cracks of the investigation, deepening the mystery of who took Lyn's life. That evening, Devon and Cornwall Police launched Operation Grenadine, a £2 million investigation that would become one of their largest unsolved cases. They traced 1,600 individuals' whereabouts, collected 7,863 statements, completed 3,144 house-to-house forms, investigated 6,573 vehicles, and gathered DNA from 6,000 males aged 14 to 70 within a few miles radius or passing through that day. House-to-house inquiries and an extensive scene search began immediately. Forensic teams uncovered vivid blue polyester cotton fibers, likely from a polo shirt or sweatshirt, on Lyn's body, alien to her clothing or home, a clue suggesting a struggle with her attacker. Her mud-splattered clothing indicated the killer likely fled covered in blood and mud, yet no one reported seeing such a figure in the tight-knit village. The missing glasses and unrecovered weapon only deepened the enigma. Was the killer still nearby, cleaning up in a hidden corner, or had they vanished into the Cornish mist? On October 21, 1998, the investigation gained momentum with a press conference at St. Austell Incident Headquarters. Detective Superintendent Gris Borland faced the cameras, his voice steady but urgent, pleading for public help. The community, reeling from the loss of one of their own, clung to his words, desperate for answers. 6 days later, on October 27th, police staged a reconstruction of Lyn's final walk through Ruan High Lanes, hoping to jog memories. But the white van driver and the chapel man remained elusive, their absence a taunting reminder of the killer's cunning. On October 29th, a glimmer of hope emerged. A man with a white van similar to the one at Chenoweth's garage was arrested in Cornwall. But he was quickly released, eliminated from the inquiry, leaving the van's ghostly presence to haunt the case. The next day, October 30th, Lyn's daughters, Lee and Erin, stood bravely before the press, their voices trembling as they begged for anyone with information to come forward. Their pain was palpable, a family torn apart by a crime that defied comprehension. By November 2nd, police were still searching for Lyn's tortoiseshell glasses, a detail they believed critical, and revealed that 3 men had been arrested and eliminated by that stage, their identities shrouded in secrecy. On November 3rd, BBC Crimewatch brought Lyn's story to the nation, reconstructing her final moments and highlighting chilling parallels to another unsolved murder. 14-year-old Kate Bushell, her throat cut on November 15, 1997, while walking her dog in Exeter, Devon. Like Lyn, her dog was unharmed and a pale van was sighted nearby. The similarities, knife attacks, rural lanes, loyal dogs, ignited fears of a serial killer prowling the southwest, a predator who struck with precision and vanished without a trace. On December 12, 1998, over 300 mourners gathered at Penmount Crematorium in Truro for Lyn's funeral, a testament to her popularity and the community's grief. The sheer number of attendees stood in stark contrast to the brutality that struck in a village where safety was taken for granted. In January and February of 1999, police intensified their hunt for the white van, sending letters to hundreds of Maestro van owners and stopping drivers across Devon and Cornwall. Yet the van remained a phantom, its driver a spectre in the investigation. The winter of 1999 brought new horrors, raising fears that Lyn's killer was still active. Back in early January, in Netherton near Newton Abbot, Devon, some 30 miles from Ruan High Lanes, a mother and her 17-year-old daughter faced a nightmare while walking their dog on a rural lane. A man in a blue-grey Vauxhall Cavalier deliberately drove into the daughter's legs, then forcing them into a field. He emerged, brandishing a small knife, possibly a penknife, and held it to the girl's throat, demanding compliance. The mother's hands were slashed as they fought back, their courage driving the attacker away. No detailed description was released, but the rural setting, knife and dog-walking context echoed Lyn's and Kate Bushell's cases. Police investigated, but no connection was confirmed, leaving the assailant and his vehicle untraced. Weeks later, in late January 1999, near Camborne, Cornwall, just 15 miles from Ruan High Lanes, another woman walking her dog was attacked. A large man, aged between 30 to 40, with light hair, dark trousers and a light top, wielded a knife in a rural lane. She survived, but details remain scarce and no arrests were made. The similarities, knife, rural lane, dog walking, fueled speculation of a local predator, his description tantalizingly close to the chapel man seen with Lyn. Yet no definitive link was established, leaving a trail of horror and unanswered questions. On the 2nd of February 1999, a macabre twist deepened the mystery. Lyn's tortoiseshell glasses, missing despite a thorough crime scene search, were found by the same farmer who discovered her body, placed on muddy ground in the gateway. The weather was dry and mild, ruling out natural displacement. Had the killer returned to taunt police? Or did a community member, perhaps fearful, place them there? The glasses' reappearance in a regularly used and previously searched area is a chilling focal point, suggesting someone knew more than they were telling. The investigation pressed on. In April 1999, Operation Hermitic, the first full review, combed through evidence, underscoring the case's complexity. On October 12, 1999, a renewed Crimewatch appeal generated over 300 calls, yet no breakthrough emerged. On April 4, 2000, police turned their attention 300 miles away, interviewing a 33-year-old man arrested for 2 murders in Norfolk. The possibility of a connection of Lyn's case sparked hope, but he was quickly ruled out, leaving the Norfolk murders a mystery footnote in a case full of dead ends. On July 2, 2000, in Salcombe, Devon, 40 miles from Ruan High Lanes, another woman was stalked for 300 yards by a man with a 6-inch knife. Described as white, around 40, clean-shaven, suntanned, wearing green corduroy trousers and a blue sweatshirt, he fled when her Alsatian barked. The blue sweatshirt, a possible match to Lyn's fibers, prompted investigation, but no link was confirmed, leaving another what if in the serial killer hypothesis. By March 2002, Operation Hermitage II re-examined all evidence, a testament to the case's persistent challenges. In 2007, an independent forensic review leveraged scientific advances, setting the stage for future breakthroughs. The 10th anniversary appeal in October 2008, backed by Lyn's family, renewed calls for information hinting at community knowledge yet to surface. In 2013, a psychic named Tristan Rees claimed 15 years of visions about Lyn's murder, offering detailed drawings. Police investigated him but ruled him out via DNA, his eerie involvement adding a strange layer to the community's story. That same year, UK legislation forced the destruction of the original 6,000 DNA samples, a setback that seemed to push justice further away. But hope flickered in 2015 with Operation Pentagon, a forensic review that pored over hundreds of exhibits with cutting-edge techniques. In May 2016, a major breakthrough. A partial DNA profile, believed to be the killer's, was isolated from Lyn's body and scene swaps. It cleared 3 pre-2008 suspects but found no match in the national DNA database, keeping the case tantalizingly close to resolution. And by October 2016, detectives began retaking DNA from the original 6,000 individuals and others across the UK. By 2023, 224 samples were tested, 112 since 2018. Yet the killer's identity remained elusive, suggesting they evaded early detection or had no prior convictions. On October 15, 2018, a 20th anniversary appeal with a £10,000 Crime Stoppers reward unleashed a flood of over 200 calls and messages, sparking 60 new actions, including 13 individuals for further investigation or DNA testing. A BBC Inside Out Southwest report captured Lee Taylor's anguish as she spoke of imagining her mother's final moments, the family's pain raw after 2 decades. The 25th anniversary appeal on October 19, 2023, with a £20,000 reward, yielded 57 further calls and 40 new leads. Detective Inspector Rob Smith underscored the local connection, the glasses mystery, and a haunting belief. Someone knows the killer's identity but has stayed silent, perhaps bound by old loyalties. The suggestion of changed allegiances hints at a community shielding a secret, a layer of complicity that chills the soul. Operation Grenadine remains active, its detectives scouring new scientific techniques, the National DNA Database, and intelligence systems. The £20,000 Crime Stoppers reward stands, a beacon for truth. 25 years on, Lyn Bryant's murder remains a wound in Ruan High Lanes, her family's pain a call to action. Who was the man at the Chapel Junction? Why did the glasses reappear? And is someone out there still protecting a killer? The answers are close, perhaps closer than we know. As the sun set on those quiet lanes of Ruan High Lanes on October 20th, 1998, the brutal murder of Lyn Bryant left a wound that would never heal. But was her death an isolated tragedy, or the work of a predator who stalked the shadows of England's southeast, striking again and again? The chilling similarities to other cases, some hauntingly close in time and place, paint a picture of a killer who may still be out there, hiding in plain sight. Just a year earlier, on November 15, 1997, 14-year-old Kate Bushell was found dead in Exeter, Devon, her throat slashed while walking her dog in a quiet rural lane. Like Lyn, her loyal dog stood unharmed by her side, a silent witness to unspeakable violence. A pale van, glimpsed fleetingly near the scene, vanished into the night, much like the white van seen trailing Lyn at Chenoweth's garage. Rewind further to March 28, 1987, and another name emerges. Helen Fleet, a 66-year-old woman stabbed to death while walking her dog in Weston-super-Mare, Somerset. Once again, a pale van was reported, a ghostly echo across the years. Though the 11-year gap casts doubt, was this an early strike by a predator who later perfected his craft with Lyn? Closer to home, the winter of 1999, a mother and her 17-year-old daughter fought for their lives as a man in a blue-grey Vauxhall Cavalier deliberately rammed the daughter's legs. Brandishing a small knife, he held it to the girl's throat, only to flee when they resisted. Weeks later, in late January, a woman walking her dog near Camborne, just 15 miles from Ruan High Lanes, faced a similar nightmare. A large man wielding a knife in a rural lane. Both survived, but the hallmarks mirror Lyn's fate with eerie precision. Another woman was stalked for 300 yards by a man with a 6-inch knife. He fled when her Alsatian barked. Then there's Julia Webb, killed in Cheshire on July 22, 1998, while walking her dog. Though police ruled out a connection, the timing, just 3 months before Lyn's murder, adds another thread to this web of violence. Each case, from Kate to Helen to the Netherton and Camborne survivors, whispers the same question. Was Lyn Bryant's killer a lone monster or part of a darker, uncaught pattern? These cases remain unsolved or unlinked, their threads frayed but tantalizing. Lyn Bryant was a beloved mother, wife, and friend whose life was taken in an act of unimaginable cruelty. Nearly 3 decades have passed, but the pain of her loss remains deeply felt, not only by those who knew and loved her, but by a community still haunted by the silence left in the wake of her murder. As we remember Lyn, we honor her spirit, her kindness, and her strength. May those who carry the burden of truth find the courage to speak, and may justice, long overdue, finally bring peace to those left behind. Thank you for watching and listening to Lyn's story. Please feel free to add your own thoughts, comments, and theories down below, and we'll see you next time.